Today, we are diving into the absolutely brilliant mind of Charlie Munger, the legendary investor and thinker. We're going to break down his timeless advice, not just for building wealth, but for building a much, much wiser life, all based on his core principles. And we just have to start with this quote. It's an absolute gem, and it cuts right to the heart of his entire philosophy. In a world that's all about frantic trading and quick flips, Munger's most powerful tool was simply patience. Let's dig into what that really means. All right, here's our game plan. We'll start with the man himself, then we'll unpack his secrets to making big money. After that, we'll explore the philosophy behind the fortune, cover his best life advice, and wrap it all up with his most powerful concept, the Lollapalooza effect. So, first things first, who exactly was Charlie Munger? Well, for more than 45 years, he was the vice chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. But more importantly, he was Warren Buffett's indispensable partner and intellectual sparring partner. He was really the architect who helped shape one of the most successful companies in the history of the world. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. How did Munger think about making money? Well, I'll tell you. It wasn't about some complex algorithm or chasing hot stock tips. It was about a fundamental, almost revolutionary shift in thinking. Now this, right here, is so important. You have to understand the massive impact Munger had on Warren Buffett. Buffett started out buying what he called cigar butts, these dirt-cheap, terrible companies that had maybe one last puff of profit left in them. It was Munger who convinced him to completely pivot, to stop buying junk and instead pay a fair price for a truly wonderful business. That single change in strategy was the key that unlocked Berkshire Hathaway's unbelievable success. So how did he pick those great companies? He used this brilliant mental filter, the circle of competence. The rules sound simple, but it's incredibly powerful. If you cannot explain in simple terms how a business makes money and why it's going to keep making money for a long, long time, you have no business owning it. Stick to what you know, period. And that idea ties right into his belief in concentrated betting. See, instead of spreading your money super thin across dozens of different stocks, Munger believed in making a few huge, high-conviction investments. Just think about Berkshire's massive stake in a company like Costco. He did the homework, he understood the business inside and out, and then he bet big for the long haul. Munger also had this fantastic rule of thumb for anyone just getting started. He said that the first $100,000 is by far the hardest part. And why is that? Because that 100 grand is your launch pad. It's the critical mass you need to get the incredible power of compound interest really working its magic for you. After that, it gets a whole lot easier. And this leads us to a really crucial point. For Munger, investing was just one part of a much bigger philosophy for life. His financial success wasn't the goal, it was the byproduct of his relentless, lifelong pursuit of rationality and wisdom. Now, this might be his most famous idea of all. Munger said that to really understand how the world works, you can't be an expert in just one little field. You need what he called a latticework of mental models. That means you have to grab the big, powerful ideas from all the major disciplines, psychology, physics, biology, you name it, and let them connect in your brain. That's how you see problems from all angles and make way, way better decisions. And here's a perfect example of one of those models in action: inversion. It's so clever. Instead of always asking, how can I succeed, Munger would flip the question completely on its head. He'd ask, what would absolutely guarantee my failure? By figuring out all the stupid things you could do, like getting into too much debt or partnering with untrustworthy people, you can just not do them. It's about winning by not losing. So how did he build this amazing mental toolkit? Simple. He was an absolute bookworm, a voracious, obsessive reader. He truly believed that the wisest people are just perpetual learning machines. He wasn't just reading for fun. He was reading to arm himself with new ways of thinking and a deeper understanding of reality. All right, so let's boil all this down to some of his most practical, memorable, and just plain brilliant advice. These are simple rules that go way beyond the world of finance and into, well, everything. This is basically a blueprint for a life of integrity, isn't it? The rules are so simple. Never sell something you wouldn't buy yourself. Only work for people you actually respect. Only work with people you enjoy being around. And his warning against envy, which he called the dumbest sin, is just so spot on. It's the only sin that you don't even get to have any fun with. It just makes you miserable. At the core of all of this is just a deep, deep commitment to trust. And finally, we get to the idea that ties everything we've talked about together. This is where all the mental models, the patience, and the discipline come together to create something truly extraordinary. The Lollapalooza effect. What a great name. It's what happens when you get multiple forces all pushing in the same direction at the same time, reinforcing each other. Munger's success didn't come from one brilliant trick. It was the combination of intense preparation, unwavering discipline, incredible patience, and a bedrock of rationality all working together. That powerful synergy is what produces those truly exceptional, world-class results. And that really brings us to the final and most important question. Munger created his Lollapalooza by combining his core principles. So you have to ask yourself, what are the key factors in your own life or your own career that when you combine them could create an outcome that's far beyond the ordinary? What's your Lollapalooza?